Hey friends, welcome. We're back at $93,000 for Bitcoin and $3,500 for Ethereum. And a lot changed really quickly yesterday. And before we dive into the news, I told you 2 days ago in the video that the positions between short and long are too imbalanced. Take a look at this. And because of that, I was expecting a rising price. That was when we were at $78,000 for Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened. Now, we currently see that things are more or less balanced again, and that is how it should be. What we saw here 2 days ago made it clear that we had to rise again. I also showed you that the CME gap has been filled. And with that, I also told you in the video, that was probably it. First of all, with the biggest crash, a lot of dollars. It won't go down, especially because the CME gap represented an extremely significant resistance zone. And that's exactly what happened. In the video, we really hit the bottom perfectly, and after that, we rose nicely. We have now risen because of the news, but in the end, the chart had already indicated it beforehand. Because Donald Trump announced yesterday that they will definitely be forming a crypto state reserve. This state has seen way too much corruption in recent years under Joe Biden. He mentioned that cryptocurrencies like XRP, Solana, and Cardano should be included. And because he didn't mention Ethereum and Bitcoin here yesterday, those cryptocurrencies especially exploded. And with Bitcoin and Ethereum, it was still a bit uncertain. That was exactly the moment when people started to wonder. He is now referring to Ethereum and Bitcoin as well, and then he posted again, the core of the crypto reserve will be Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that was damn important. As a result, we also saw a strong rise in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we fought our way back nicely. In the end, it's crazy what's happening here, and I say, friends, if we really should see a crypto state reserve in the USA and also see quantitative easing, basically an expansion of the money supply, then we will enter a cycle that will be abnormal. It will be gigantic, because that would allow an enormous amount of money to be pumped into the markets. And that will definitely happen, especially if the US government announces that they will pump 100 billion or so into Bitcoin every year. That will have a huge price impact. In 4 days, there's also the crypto summit at the White House. And it seems that very interesting things are coming our way. That will also be interesting. I think we definitely need to be excited about that. Hopefully, they'll also talk about the state reserve there, and hopefully it will actually be implemented this time. Take a look at this here at Polymarket. Since yesterday, according to people, we have a 62% chance of a Bitcoin state reserve this year, and that would be damn important, because we've been continuously correcting the chances here over the last few months. People were slowly losing faith because Donald Trump just stopped talking about it. Now he brought it up again, and that definitely restored a lot of trust here. That was extremely important, extremely crucial, and now it really depends on when and how they will implement it. Because if they do that, as I said, then completely new doors will open up here. That would definitely be gigantic. Otherwise, we see that Bitcoin dominance is unfortunately still very strong. It really depends on when we see the drop, but the drop should come based on time and data. Then we will also see an expansion of the money supply. At least in the past, that's how it was. You can see that here. When we've seen the expansion of the money supply here, we've usually had a drop in Bitcoin dominance, and the more money we had, the more we had for Bitcoin. Right now, we don't have any expansion of the money supply, although we are slowly seeing an upward trend. It will be interesting to see if this is really the big upward trend or if we'll correct again afterwards. This is definitely related to the altcoin season. And are all these people now, in the last few weeks, we've seen that the rails have continued to accumulate Bitcoins bit by bit. 600 pieces at once, 500 pieces, 1,000 pieces at once. These are really millions of dollars that have taken place here within just a few days. The rails aren't buying so aggressively for no reason during such tough phases. They've figured out the game here again, but it doesn't bother me in a negative way. And now I want to talk to you about Ethereum because I found some really interesting things that you have to be honest about. If this really plays out as anticipated, then this could truly be the bottom for Ethereum. That's it, friends, and by that I mean it was the worst for Ethereum. And I really mean that I think that was the worst. With Ethereum, we've seen something interesting because I've discovered something very intriguing here. I absolutely have to show you this. And today we're going to take a close look. Ethereum on, because no one can probably stand to see this chart anymore. Everyone knows it. Everything with Bitcoin depends. With Ethereum together. Ethereum is basically the leader among the Bitcoins. When Ethereum performs, Bitcoin performs too. That's why it's even more important for an altcoin season that Ethereum significantly outperforms Bitcoin. Right now, it doesn't look like that at all. This is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Here you can see how Ethereum keeps declining while Bitcoin is getting stronger. In relation to Bitcoin, Ethereum has definitely lost a lot of value over the past few months. We're slowly but surely back in that range where we were during the last bear market. So we also see some very interesting patterns in this regard. And in this regard, I just have to show you a few things. And here we see as an indicator quantitative tightening, meaning the money supply in the US. And basically, in this regard, we've seen a continuous decline in quantitative tightening over the past few months. And accordingly, liquidity has basically been sucked out of the markets the whole time. This especially affects projects like Ethereum. Here we can also see how strongly that correlates. If we don't have any money supply expansion, then we also see that Ethereum is getting weaker. But I've seen two very interesting things now. And this is the regular Ethereum chart. And we're looking at the whole thing in the last bear market. Here, we can see, if you zoom in a bit, what it all looks like. We formed a triangle here. We also broke through that. But when we lost support here, Ethereum really took a hit for a whole month. And then it started that that's exactly where we were. After that, Ethereum started to outperform Bitcoin. That was exactly the time when we broke down after the triangle. What started after that was exactly the quantitative tightening. We had seen another expansion of the money supply, which was extremely important for projects like Ethereum. If we look at our current cycle now, we can recognize exactly the same pattern again. We really had a triangle here, then we broke out nicely from it, and right now, we're underneath it. Broken through. In terms of time and data, this is extremely similar to the past. What's interesting here is that when we saw this break in the triangle back in 2017, Ethereum struggled for another 2 to 3 weeks. But because of that, we have the Ethereum Bitcoin bottom is signaled because that was exactly the moment where Ethereum started to slowly outperform Bitcoin. And that's exactly the most important thing for a Bitcoin season and for Bitcoin in general. Those were extremely important signs back then. Then you can see a very clear pattern here. It looks a bit strange right now, but you can see that at almost every bottom, we're currently standing 10 times higher. Back then, the bottom was at $82, here at $800. Take a look at it. Here at $120, here at $1,100. Here at $155, here at $1,500. Here, our top from the triangle was at $200, and here at $2,200. And that shows how identical everything is happening here, and how exactly similar it actually is. And that actually makes me feel positive again, because as I said, it has been exactly the same. We tested the bottom here 3 times, and then we saw the breakout. And then we left the triangle downwards, and a month later it started. Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin. We saw the quantitative tightening, and that slowly kicked off the altcoin season. And that's basically the biggest and most important thing. Right now, we don't have loose monetary policy, no money expansion. You can really notice that, especially with Bitcoin. When we look at this here, we can see how exact it is. Our Bitcoin correlates with the money expansion, and that's why it's really, really important that we see a money expansion here in the future. That would be important. Here, we really need a bottom soon. Because at the moment, more and more money is being taken out of the markets. When we see the reversal, Terra Luna, and we start getting inflows back into the markets, that's exactly when it's time for Ethereum and Bitcoin. But as I said, in the past, the patterns really looked similar to how they currently look. That doesn't mean it has to happen exactly like that. I have to be honest, I found it very interesting to show you this here. Feel free to write to me about this ETH topic, your opinion in the comments. I find it very extreme how parallel things are running right now. And feel free to write to me about the market sentiment in general. Your opinion in the comments. In fact, there's really nothing more to say. You know what to do. Leave a video, a like, and a comment. And then until next time, friends, bye.